What's up, guys? It's Dan here. All right, I want to show you exactly what I'm trying to build here. And I'm trying to build this out. It's taken some time, but I want to start introducing you to the idea of CrowdROI, using podcast intelligence to actually create value in the market. Check this out. All right, look at this knowledge graph right behind me. What you're actually looking at, and I will jump right into it, but what you're actually looking at is a knowledge graph that has been generated from the podcast that I have been monitoring on CrowdROI.com. All right. It's actually starting to link the entities together. It's linking, where there's being lots of mentions and relevant, valuable, high signal mentions of different entities, different companies, different products, different organizations, different locations, different people that are involved in different activities across the world, really, across different categories, across science and technology, across politics, across science, across history, across all kinds of different things. And so that's what I'm actually building out here at CrowdROI.com. And it's really interesting. So what it is if you jump to the homepage, I'll just kind of walk you through this a little bit because I want you to understand really the full breadth of what I'm actually building out here. It's quite an interesting platform. All right. So the general idea is you add a podcast or a YouTube URL right here, and then it actually analyzes the content and it extracts the different entities, books, products, people, companies, the different mentions that people have said in those episodes. It actually extracts that information, which you can see here. Okay. Then you could actually start digging into those different entities that are extracted out of the different podcasts. And you can see there's many, right? A lot of different entities that are being extracted out. You could look at the most recent entities that are extracted out. If I sort by most recent, there's some problems here with the metadata that I need to fix, but you'll see Anti-Monopoly, Wild Alaskan Company, Alpha Brain. These are the products, BPC 157. These are the products and the number of times they've been mentioned in the different podcast episodes that are being extracted and monitored. All right. You could do this for products, books, companies, so forth and so on. Here's where it gets really interesting. So I'm redesigning the page, the entity page itself. So when you click into an entity, let's just say gold, right? Right now, when you click into gold, you click analyze and you'll see this is the gold page, okay? But I'm actually revamping this gold page right now as we speak. So this is what I'm doing. This is the new gold page that I'm developing. Okay, it says the total number of mentions of gold. It says if it's breaking out as a category. What I'm actually building here is you can explore with AI. You can actually click into a question, have AI analyze the question against that specific product, and tell you if it is, what's actually happening with that term, what other terms it's colliding with, and try to generate some insight and some narrative insight from that. You can actually go down and look at the narrative that's being developed and how that narrative is actually being framed. For gold, it says significant spike in attention and discussion. It's experiencing a narrative breakout, which it actually is. Gold is going up in price as we speak very, very quickly. Also predominantly discussed with a perspective, conversations. Let's see what else. Key drivers connected to Peter Schiff, Federal Reserve, Donald Trump in podcast discussions. There's 3 connections there. Amplifiers, it's being amplified by Peter Schiff, Megyn Kelly, Global News Podcasts, and Valuetainment. So it's telling you who's talking about gold. And then it's actually telling you the sentiment of that term. Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it neutral? And then where that kind of lands and where it lands. And then it gives you quotes of the evidence. So this is all for one entity, gold. Okay. Now, what else can you do here? You could actually go into what we call an intelligence report, which I'm going to revamp the UI for this soon too, but I want to just show you what it actually is. It's basically doing a deeper dive into that specific entity by time frame and looking across, the podcast that people mentioned it, a knowledge graph of who's talking about gold specifically, right? And you could see this. Hopefully you could see this a bit. You could see who's actually talking about gold. It jumps into the speakers of who's talking about it. It talks about often mentioned in what places or with what entities. San Francisco. These are entities that are linked to mentions of gold. And then also relationships. Peter Schiff recommends gold, which he certainly does. influenced by gold mining stocks, which is a product that's being sponsored across the topic of gold, right? So you kind of get where this is going. And then there's quotes, what they're specifically talking about. Breaking news, markets end week on mixed note. Fed has come closest, global outcome. A great way to have some gold stored outside the country, right? People are talking about storing gold out of the country, Peter Schiff in this case. And then momentum, like, where is this actually, going in terms of a breakout? So this is all being kind of collected, in this intelligence report right here. I'm also building out a narrative report to, put all that in more of an English point of view. So anyway, this is what I'm building out on CrowdROI. Hope you find it interesting. You can go browse through all the channels, episodes, and get insights and data. All right, guys. So I hope you can kind of get an idea of what I'm building. Right now, I'm also building out a report builder. So you're soon going to be able to extract reports on entities, episodes, channels, categories, and understand what's happening in those different sectors across the internet and across the podcast sphere. Hopefully you found this interesting. Tell me what you think in the comments. I think this is going to be a very interesting project that I'm just getting started on. And let me know if you think this is valuable, if there's anything you want to know or understand about it better. But the URL is crowdroi.com. Go to CrowdROI, crowdroi.com, and I will talk to you next time. See you guys.